Wait, rectangle. At edging weight? Question mark?
It's a good thing we're live.
Mm-hmm.
So how's it going this evening, gentlemen?
I've had better evenings.
I was doing all right.
I can move this over here so I'm not looking off to the side like a weirdo.
But the real question is, are we playing Charterstone tomorrow?
Ugh.
We were talking about that just before you got on.
Well,
My brain says yes, but my heart says no.
I know.
mm,
There's been a lot of. Each time we miss, I feel like it's going to be harder and harder.
who knows? I mean, we only have 4 more sessions to go.
Yep. So
Wrap that up and.
the next
I
3 to
mean,
6 months.
I mean, because we're not playing next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what are you saying? Is we should save the big comeback for like in 3 weeks?
No, let's.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody's
No,
going to be
I'm
there,
in.
let's get a game in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Get
do
2
it.
games in.
Remember when we used to do that?
Yeah.
That
I'm
was nice.
fine with that. I'm actually not working on Friday, so
Claire's not working on Friday. I'm not working on Friday.
it's a not working on Friday party.
Woo.
Yeah. What the shit's going on, kids?
I don't ever work on Friday.
Well, I mean, I'm going to Kentucky for family weekend, so
Well, I will be working Friday, so I'll just I'll let everybody know how it's going.
you do that.
Fridays are the good days. I don't schedule any meetings on Fridays.
My place of work is wonderful. The only downside is that they won't let me take a half day off. Otherwise, I would have. Yeah, it's a policy they've had in place forever, and they just have never backed down from it. So we accrue hourly, but you have to take full days. So okay. So I'm like, all right, well, I can't take half a day off, so I'm just taking the whole day off. I literally am not leaving town till 3:00 in the afternoon, but all right, well.
Yeah, but that's nice. Then you can not have to rush.
Yeah.
I don't like leaving directly from work to go places.
Mm-hmm.
I get my my pre-sausage fest haircut done a week early.
Which hair are you cutting?
All of them from here up.
Get your scalp massage.
Of course. Always.
I
I don't spoil myself in some of those ways, and so it's like, you know what? That's one of my expenditures that I'm just gonna throw money at. Fucking give me a scalp massage.
I have to find a new place to cut my hair around here since I moved, and I'm actually kind of bummed. The place that I got my hair cut out in West County, I had a situation with my my haircut lady. In that we used to work at Deerberg's together 20 years ago, and Randy does not remember me, but I remember Randy. And so it's just super awkward for one of us while we have this haircut situation, and she's just blissfully unaware of every moment. I'm like, when is she gonna remember? But she never does. And now I suspect she never will.
I mean, you could keep going back.
It's a very far drive for me to do that. The other night I got drunk, and then I ordered these sheets, and like they didn't immediately send me a confirmation email, so I was like, oh well, I just fucked up the thing, and I'll just order another set, and I want to take off this 5-year protection plan I didn't take off the first time. Okay, so then I complete the transaction. Then they send me 2 confirmation emails in a row which lists the shipping address as my old address, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. I have fucked up every possible component of this transaction. I have fucked up. So I messaged them, and I'm like, hey, can you cancel this and then fix the address on this? And I don't know, they messaged me back in like minutes, and I just didn't see it for 2 days. So on Friday, I had to drive out to Maryland Heights to get these sheets because they were like $100-something. And like halfway out to Maryland Heights, I was like, oh my god, this is so far. This is why no one ever came to my house, because this is so far away.
Oh.
Tony, you're on mute.
I know. I was also away from my headset, so I got back in time to hear so far away.
So far away. I hate it.
When I moved, so I'm from small town Indiana, and it was an hour to like a mall. You know, like everything was far away. So when I moved here, and it's like, oh, it's only 20 minutes. That's great, and everything's about 20 minutes away here. And so none of the driving in the metro area seems at all like at all of a cost to me. Like it's all very comfortable. But I have noticed that like my neighbors, when I'm like, hey, we're just going to go to the zoo for an hour, they're like, well, you got to plan a whole day. I'm like, it's free. If I spend more than 40 minutes there, then I feel like it's worth it.
Admittedly, I had people over that night, and like a certain percentage of my friends are all old ladies. So like at 9:30 when we finished watching Everything Everywhere, they're all like, okay, evening's over, we're gonna go home and go to bed. And I was like, all right, well, I want to drive out to Maryland Heights and get my goddamn package. So it was like already 10:30, and I was tired. I just felt so lonesome and long. And then I pulled up to the house, all the lights were on, and I forgot that like my car, when I get near the house, automatically opens my garage door. So that was a little awkward for the people who are living in that house now. Nobody's living there.
Did you enjoy another viewing of Everything Everywhere?
Yeah, I did. I don't feel like it loses anything in the rewatching.
In fact, like I think on one of the later viewings, because I'm not sure if you don't know, I realized just before she rubber bands accidentally to the sausage fingers world, right? They show what she's thinking about. Like she's remembering a art project that her kid did, and she's thinking about a hot dog in the park. And like, oh, this should have seen this coming for some reason. And like other bits where they are like seeding things for later.
I want to see that again.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
It is.
You know what? Speaking of things that are worth watching, what are we going to watch next week?
Are we recording next week?
You know what? I'm okay to record next week.
Right.
Are you okay to record next week?
I mean, I don't have to prepare anything for Archon.
That's true.
I need to pack clothes for 2.5 days, and then make sure I've got a big enough cooler to put some random boozes in.
That's fair.
And then that's about it. And then head over Thursday afternoon early enough for the dispensary to be open before I get there.
That's a good call.
Yeah, that being able to order online is fantastic.
I did not, I haven't actually been there. Other than having been to Archon last year, which is kind of in its parking lot, I haven't actually been there.
I've been to that one, and it's not. I think it's gotten better. The experience of going there was kind of a pain in the ass because you had to park completely different place and get bussed over. But that was in the early days when there weren't nearly as many dispensaries. Now there's one in Fairview Heights with a nice big parking lot. I mean, it was the old Babies R Us, so it's got a great parking lot.
That is the natural evolution.
It is. And I have literally never waited in line at the one in Fairview Heights. Like, I just walk in.
Well, maybe I'll do that one.
I order online, just walk in. They're like, here's your order. Thanks. I think the most I've had to wait is like, you walk in and you're like in this big room, and there are like probably a dozen people checking people out, and you just have to wait long enough for like one or two of those people to clear out the person in front of them, and you just step right up. It's pretty fantastic.
Step right up. Maybe I'll just do that then. One of our clients did this 6-minute video about how the work we do for them is great and yada 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 and blah blah blah. And this is a project I've been working on, so mostly it's this guy. So for the first 4 minutes, it's that, and the last 2 minutes are about this document parsing tool that I wrote a while back. And then like 15 seconds into the chick talking about it, I was like, no, fuck, please don't talk about this. And then like, I don't know, maybe an hour later, I got an email from our marketing department like, here's how we're going to brand this parsing tool. And I was like, no, fuck, are you kidding me? God damn it.
Somebody flew too close to the sun.
So now I have to give a demo of... Nobody knows what it is or how it works, but they're sure fired up to market it. And I was like...
Well, that sounds like marketing.
Yeah. No, this is our CEO.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's been a banner couple weeks at the old office.
All right. Let's go ahead and get this started. Hey, this is Tony.
Hi, this is Mitch.
And this is David.
And we're the Backseat Producers. And welcome to our discussion of Baahubali.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to jump in early because there were a lot of comments on the last movie from I guess the Indian region when we did RRR.
Like South India?
Yeah, where they commented, there was a lot of people commenting on, we talked a lot before we actually talked about the movie.
That's the show.
That's us. That's what we do.
Right. So if you've gotten bogged down in the last 10 minutes, I advise you to skip ahead to here.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking now. We're at the 13-minute mark. So
perfect.
Yeah, maybe somebody will remember that, and I'll post that. Somebody can comment on that on the YouTubes.
A hero.
So I don't want to talk about what we're going to talk about next week until I find out what you guys thought about this movie. Because
I feel like next week,
if we liked it,
part of this.
I think the second part is a natural.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
I'm in.
All right.
Because, I want to go first.
Yeah, do it.
My high level is a 2-part simple statement. One, this won't even be a statement. That fucking chariot. That's the first part of my review.
Sure.
And the second part of my review is, God damn them end on that cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that guy. That's a good cliffhanger.
It is. It is.
It is not a cliffhanger I saw coming.
No, it's a good movie. It's a good movie all around.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the performances and the story, and I thought it looked great. I mean, I think the CGI is like the level you get for the budget it had, but it never took me out of it.
Yeah, I think this, watching this, and I mean, I haven't seen the second one yet, so I can't speak to it, but I imagine that we're going to see a natural evolution of of CGI and action between this and then part 2 and then RRR.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't think it shouldn't evolve because they shot part 1 and part 2 at the same time.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was not aware of that. Well, they could have evolved a budget that had better CGI.
They could have, but
I don't know.
I would very strongly guess they did not.
Right. But I would say I think the CGI was a lot more refined in RRR.
Yes, and I was actually thinking about that while I was watching the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder what component of that is just the emergence of that part of Indian cinema.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because I don't know if the CGI in this wasn't bad, but it was unrefined. So I don't know if so when we talked about RRR, one of those things was that Tollywood was becoming a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and this was like one of those. And RRR was one of those I don't want to say flagship movies, but flagship movies for Tollywood.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much of the emerging cinema, various woods of India, like the CGI evolution is. In fact, this is where I want somebody from India, like familiar with the cinema, like how all of that works. God, we need to find somebody.
Yeah, we need a consultant.
Let me see if I can find someone for next week.
I had read that this cost $28 million US for their budget, and it was the most expensive Indian movie at the time of its release.
That's bonkers,
right?
I mean, looking at what we looked at now, I mean, I don't know that you're shooting Game of Thrones episodes.
They're $1 million each for Game of Thrones.
I mean, well, and you got to figure the runtime. It's like 3 episodes. You know, I mean, this is there's a lot of film here, and then to also shoot it twice. They shot everything twice in 2 different languages. And I was doing a little bit of reading about that, but I want to, when we get into that later, I want to pull up an article to read from or to quote from, just because I don't understand all the rules, but at a high level, they made this in and I'm probably going to butcher these names, but Telugu and Tamil. They shot it in both of those languages at the same time, because if you shoot a movie in Telugu and then dub it in Tamil, there are only so many times or so many theaters you can show it in. There's like some rules around that. Yeah, there's some but if it's natively in both languages, you have a lot more opportunity to get the movie into more theaters. And I don't know all the details, but that's kind of a high level from some of the stuff I was seeing. And then they just got a giant Netflix contract and were able to dub it in Hindi and Malayalam.
The languages of Malaysia.
There's different languages, and then they actually hired the person who edited, I think, The Incredible Hulk, to edit it, to do a completely different edit, and so they've got an international cut, and that's where the English dub shows up, and that was like part of Netflix getting the rights to it, and like that was all part of their deal, was that they could do that with the film. I did not watch that version. As much as I'm normally tempted to watch an English dub, and part of the reason was because it's also 20 minutes shorter. I have a feeling that there may be some cultural things that, or maybe some U.S. film styles that are a little different, and they like, I can see things that could have been cut with a U.S. sensibility, but this isn't a U.S. film, so I wouldn't like. I was joyous about the things I was seeing, they are things that you wouldn't see in American movies. Some of the quick cuts to people staring, which are just fantastic. I mean, because it wasn't a joke. They weren't playing it for laughs. It was for effect and emotive, and they were emotive every time they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we did the budget thing. I found this thing. I wanted to say it. It took 200 days to construct all the sets in the movie on 20 acres of land with 1,000 men working on it per day.
Whew.
What are the...
Yeah, they must not be union.
They got a lot of labor in that country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of labor and want of work.
I was looking at a list of like most expensive movies like all time, right? And so you get like Avengers movies like in the 350 million range. Right? So more than 10 times expensive as this.
And I think it's a comparable runtime.
2 and change, 215.
Is Avengers only 215?
Oh, I have no idea what an Avengers is.
I thought
they're long.
Yeah, I thought especially like Endgame was closer to 3 hours.
Or the number one was Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides at 379 million.
Wow,
that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money
for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It did bring me that telescope joke, which I think may be one of the funniest jokes in all of cinema. So
maybe with it.
Endgame is 302.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you could probably shave a good 45 minutes out of Endgame.
Cut a fight scene down from an hour long to 15 minutes.
Probably.
Mostly that first fight where they go and get Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Wait, that's not an Endgame. Never.
No, that's the other one. Infinity War.
That's Infinity War. Never mind.
Regardless,
but,
I want the super cut of Infinity War where it's just the blip support group for 3 hours.
Let's do an all blip group.
Mm-hmm.
Take it.
I didn't actually listen to, like, I didn't leave the audio on, but there was a video going around that was the cut of Endgame where the portals are open and everybody's facing off against Thanos, and then they add in just literally everything else, like the Riders of Rohan and Batman and the Batwing,
right.
and just like the I can't remember the name of the aliens. Their ships are like they have those wavy ships flying through, and TIE fighters are around them, and like it's ridiculous, and it's just probably about 10 minutes of more characters just showing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty hilarious.
I think a thing that I saw in this Baahubali that I haven't seen much in American cinema is like a 45-minute long flashback.
Yeah, because like at a certain point in this movie, it turned into a goddamn Spin Doctors song. And I was really confused. Actually, I felt super racist because I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy looks just like the other guy. I can't even. Is this the present or is this the flashback? But then the guy plays both people, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
No wonder. Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm like, am I racist because I just didn't know it was the same guy?
But I think that's why, like, whenever other people see his son, they're like, Baahubali. You look just like Baahubali.
Right.
Yeah.
It does make it easier when he's playing the same person.
Okay, but also they haven't seen the other guy in like 30 years.
Right.
But, I mean,
and I was like, oh
like
yeah,
old folk now.
But everyone in those scenes is young.
Yeah.
The only people who are old are his mom and that one goddamn guy.
Capata.
Yeah, Capata. That badass.
That dude was awesome.
That dude was fucking awesome.
Can we just list all of the awesome
Katapa.
people, like all of the awesome fighting in this movie? Like whenever a woman was put in danger, it was like, oh, that's going to end badly for whoever's putting her in danger because she's literally gonna kick his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And what the shit is up with Devastina? Like every time she's got lines, they're super intense lines. Like, oh, we gotta leave this guy alive so the birds can peck out his fucking eyes. Jesus Christ, pull it back. Well, I'm hoping for the day my son gets here. So he tells me to bring the king and lay him in this bed of fire. Great.
Yeah. Intense.
There was a lot of intensity in the movie. There really was an incredible amount of intensity.
Yeah, and like right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, when she pulls the arrow out of her own back, stabs a dude with it, grabs a sword, jams it in a guy's gut, and just like within, like, I was watching the clock. I wasn't even at the like 5 or 6 minute mark of watching it, and there was a really long intro. Like there's a really long intro title credit. Like they did a bunch of thank yous.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking like 3 minutes of action time, if that. And she's just murdered like 5 dudes.
It started at 11.
Yeah. Backed off to about 9.
She leaves
and then just ticked its way back towards 12.
Yep.
Let's see if this guy can free climb this mountain.
I did appreciate that we didn't spend like any time with him as a child.
Yeah.
Bounce right.
It was like, this is a baby. Now he's young. Now he's a little bit older. Now he's a little bit older. Now he's carrying shrine.
I guess, that was a thing I also would be to watch this with someone who was in this culture, because I think there's a lot of symbolism that I can recognize. There's some symbolism here, but like that's the extent of what I know, right? And someone to point out like, oh yeah, when he's flying through the air, that's like an air thing or something, right? But I don't understand all those different bits. Like he's moving the shrine. I'm like, is this bad? Is this good? They seem really happy he did it. It looked like he was mad. Like
I feel like they were upset and then happy.
Right? And
I feel like the people were upset, but the holy person, the holy man, was like, no, let this happen. This is okay.
I want to see where this goes.
Right. Yeah.
I'll allow it. And it's like, it's bad to move shrines unless you put them in waterfalls, and then it's good again.
Well, call TLC, man.
Well, I mean, it's
nice.
Yeah. I mean, it was all about washing Shiva.
Yep. Yeah.
And he did it first.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. This wasn't the rules. It's like, what rules? When the holy man was like, yeah,
she was gonna do what she was gonna do.
Yeah. Shiva be Shivan.
I actually don't even know how offensive that is.
I don't know either.
I don't know. And I've been to the Hindu temple here a couple of times, which it's awesome, and gotten a tour, and they're pointing out all the things, but I don't know how it all works. It does seem like there's a lot of complicated things that is, if I was in that culture, I would know, but I am not, so I don't. But it looked awesome, so I can appreciate it at least on that level.
There was a weird sequence where he meets the chick, or he meets Avantika. And then they do this ugly duckling to beautiful swan thing where he lets down her hair and then she becomes way hotter. But she was way hotter before.
But all of that was kind of
the whole scene
sketchy.
Was very sketchy.
Because he starts by secretly drawing on her, and then undressing her with dance that she did not seem to be excited about. I was not reading enthusiastic consent from her in that moment.
Well, she entered the glade to kill him, and I don't feel like the dance really changed her mind until like the very end.
Right. Even when he's putting makeup on her.
Yeah.
But then by the end, she was like, all right, you got me.
Yeah.
So
then she fucking poisons him, and I loved it. Got him.
So one of the things that I kind of mentioned before is about the Telugu and Tamil dubbing language differences. So the reason is, if dubbed from Telugu to Tamil, then it has to release only in a few theaters and prints as per the dubbed releasing movie standards, as there's a limited set for dubbing movie to be released in numbers only. This article is not written by an English speaker.
I assumed.
So instead of dubbing it, they made it in Tamil also to cash in the Tamil cinema screen unlimitedly, as straight Tamil film can be released in as many theaters as you like. So I read this as, if they would have dubbed it, they only can make so many prints, and therefore it can only be shown in so many theaters at a time. I don't know, but I'm assuming this also assumes that at least 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago, when this movie came out, they probably weren't doing digital releases. You know, they didn't have the digital film technology, so they were probably using actual prints and delivering film canisters and showing films that way. So all that does make an incredible amount of sense.
Yeah, and I don't know if it is similar to, but like there's rules about like music in Africa about what they can play on the radio station. And so it has to be like, in like different countries have different rules, like a certain percentage from our country. And then you have another percentage from artists in Africa, and then a percentage that can be international, right? Because like otherwise it would like all be American hip hop.
Sure.
And so they want to promote local artists, so they do this thing. And so that's also why like Akon will go to Africa and tour and then record versions of a song with local artists that can play locally and things like
that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to do that.
And so I wonder if some of these rules in India about cinema are just to like keep the high export of American cinema like to a limit.
Yeah. I mean,
and to encourage, local artists to make the cinema and movies and stuff.
Right. I want to see more movies like this in the theater.
Oh man, yeah.
This movie, I would have loved to see this movie on the big screen. I watch a lot of movies, especially the Netflix kind of stuff. I'll watch them on my computer. I wish a big chunk of this movie on my big screen TV in my living room. And that was a lot of fun.
Well,
I'm going to try and watch as much as I can of part 2 on the TV.
It's interesting because this and RRR are two movies that I would consider to be like epic movies, like in the like a more classical sense of the word.
Right.
And I'm like struggling. Like I think Infinity War probably did it, but I don't think it was epic in terms of the movie itself. I think it was epic in terms of the MCU culminating in a thing, right? And it took 30 some odd movies to get there. But other than that, I've been like struggling. Like maybe probably Lord of the Rings, maybe.
Lord of the Rings.
But like this director doesn't give a shit about epic movie. Like he just makes the epic movie and then like, fuck, this is gonna be cool. Let's do this. Let's build this goddamn chariot spinny blade thing.
This Dr. Seuss chariots, chop down all the trees and.
And then
as soon as I saw it, I just was laughing.
I couldn't stop.
Chariot was so.
That
wild.
chariot was so ridiculous. And then the other guy, that guy had those goddamn maces with the huge balls on the end, and that was also on a chain.
Mm-hmm.
And then it retracted at one point.
Retractable. Or some hidden machinery.
So it retracted, and so that he could just use it as a
boomerang.
Oh my god! Well, and then Baahubali gets shafted by getting the catapults instead of the arrows. And then he just like comes up with this alternate plan.
You can tell that he went to like a public school and had parachute day in gym class.
We had those in private school too,
right?
Yeah.
So I legitimately did not think it was going to happen that way, just how. I mean, these two dudes were superheroes. Like they were lifting things and breaking things and doing things with their bare hands that. Like this was, Captain America level superheroing going on.
Like on the occasion that you need a sled, what you do is you find a rock column and you pull a sled-shaped piece of it off.
Oh, I thought that was tree bark.
Oh, I thought this was a stone because he had just pushed over a stone.
He just pushed over a stone, but I thought that was the tree she was leaning against.
Oh, it could have been.
Maybe.
It could have been.
Rip a sled-shaped piece of bark off.
Yeah, but I legitimately thought that when he was like with his superpowers, like they were gonna, like he was just gonna jump into a catapult and like just fucking catapult over the bad guys and just fight that dude one-on-one.
Well, the thing is, a couple years ago, I remember seeing like a video that was going around YouTube that was just a clip of some Indian movie where a dude assaults an entire city by jumping into a catapult and then doing that. And I was like, I wonder if that's this movie.
We were getting close.
Well, we haven't seen the second movie yet.
We haven't seen the second movie yet. And they're going to have to siege that city.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some kind of escalation.
Well, and then there's also, like, coming from Netflix, right? A prequel series?
What?
Oh, yeah. So Netflix is producing a prequel series, Baahubali Before the Beginning, based on like 3 books that came out that are prequel books.
Okay. I know what movie the video I'm talking about is from, and I will not spoil whether or not it is in the second part of this.
Okay.
But I have found it.
That tells me that it is.
Well, I
it's
will
an
be excited when
unreleased...
you are disappointed.
That's fine. It's an unreleased Indian streaming television series.
Oh, yeah. I think they scrapped their first try and are doing it again.
Oh.
It does feel like the iron is hotter now for that. Because like RRR was a tremendous success.
Yes. And it's I've been hearing about it more and more. Like it's making the rounds of being reviewed, and like what's really strange is I think we like for the first time in our 16 and a half year history, we're ahead of something and reviewed RRR in this format on YouTube. And we're like among the first 3 or 4 shows like this that did that, and that were on YouTube. Now, if you go out there and look, there are many RRR reviews. So it feels like something. Yeah. We like crested that wave, and yeah, there's a lot more coming. And if it gives us things like this and unearths them for us, because they're there, we're just unaware of them.
I need a goddamn syllabus though,
right?
Like because I know there's a ton of like I was thinking about this when the bad guys, Kalakia, showed up, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
I wonder if this was an American movie. I would be looking at this and thinking about the cultural insensitivity of this mob of people. And I wonder what the cultural insensitivities of this movie are
Right.
in places I don't understand.
Right. Because they also specifically created this group of people. They created a language for them. Like I was reading something like there was a language that was created, and there are so many words and grammatical rules in place that they don't even subtitle what those guys are saying, but there are apparently grammatical rules for what that guy is saying. And it's a completely fabricated language.
Yep.
That's pretty intense.
I tried to look up, like that. Like was like I guess what I search terms were Baahubali controversy, just to see if I could find like anything about that. But it was about the Tamil language and using a particular word that is like a caste slur, which I mean also is something that I'm not connected with or understand. But I'm like,
I believe the word translates to the word gambler.
That's what I saw.
And that's actually a caste slur that I mean we would have probably not even blinked at.
Right, but it'd be like I don't know. I guess I don't know what it would be like really because I don't understand there.
Right.
But I'm imagining like if you were referring to, well, again, I don't know. I actually don't know when it was in the movie or like what it was about. But there's definitely certain like groups of people in Western culture or in American culture that you might refer to a particular behavior by the name of that group of people, right? As part of a slur.
I mean, it's easier if we do this way. And Mitch, I apologize because you are from Indiana, but around here, a Hoosier is a slur.
That's true.
I figured in Indiana, it's
a slur.
It is.
A slur has a certain connotation.
I feel like as a proper Hoosier, I feel like the way y'all are using it here is not in a friendly manner.
Correct. It is not friendly, but slur is a...
To someone who takes it as a point of pride, I think it could be construed as a slur. But, I mean, you also have, rednecks.
Sure.
I mean, it's not gonna... To call somebody a redneck seldom is going to get you to the point of losing your job, because it's that offensive. But I don't know just how offensive the term that was used in this movie is. But I don't know if that's like dropping. Yeah, so... I don't know if that's like dropping the N-word or I just have no idea.
Yeah. Right, and so like the thing I read had talked about that it was this particular word and it's a caste slur, and that there were like protests about it. So I guess like this created other people like the barbarians must not have risen to that level of upsetting.
That's a good point. Yeah. Comparatively.
Now, speaking of a caste system, I started reading the Red Rising books.
Oh, yeah?
We played that game.
Yeah.
Right, and it's in that like weird sci-fi. It's a color-based, like reds are the lowest and golds are the highest, like a caste system hierarchy. The reader of the audiobook is really good. Like, I'm loving his voice. He's got an accent that he is using and different accents for the different like castes. And I'm like, oh, this is working. But it's all like in the British Isles levels of accents. Oh, I dig that.
Okay, spoiler trivia. Movie's cliffhanger ending, where it is shown that Katapa, who was the most loyal to Amrenda Bahubali, ultimately killed him by literally stabbing him in the back, left audience in a shock, and resulted in a viral internet meme. Why Katapa killed Bahubali.
Why Katapa killed Bahubali?
Which now I gotta...
Yeah, when he was giving that speech, like, I spoke the words out loud. It was me. And then he said it. It was like, all right, good. We're on the same page here. I don't know why, but I'm in for this.
Yeah.
Did you
It
guys
got me.
notice?
I did not see it coming.
I didn't see it coming until the words were coming out of his mouth. Just the way he was phrasing it, it was like there's no reason for him to be phrasing it like this if it wasn't coming from him.
Yeah, I couldn't see past the intensity, which sort of mirrored the intensity throughout the rest of it. So I was just all caught up in like, oh, so gravelly and so ooh.
Oh,
like,
that dude is so intense.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was still really impressed with. I mean, it's just movie stuff, but when he split that dude's sword into, that was fun. That was pretty badass.
Oh, there's a bit, also a breaking sword, where Bahubali like crosses his fists against a sword to like snap it, and it just made me laugh out loud. Like that really like hit me, and I just loved it.
So I didn't notice this at first, but until I was watching it on the big screen, and then I couldn't unsee it, and then I couldn't unsee it when I was watching it on the small screen also. So at the very beginning of the movie, we get the disclaimers, and they do a disclaimer about and the wording is kind of funny because it's like all animal falls are CGI, computer generated imagery. Did you notice this the little CGI in the corner?
Yeah.
Like that was pretty like I was like, all right, I'm okay with that.
Except
like
for,
just to remind you that these animals aren't real. It's okay. It's okay. But I think the elephants were real.
Yeah, so there were a few scenes that had horses in it for sure that didn't have the little CGI tag. So I think they had some real horses from time to time.
The elephant.
I thought I remember that for the elephant too.
The CGI tag was not there because I watched that because I was watching that last because that was part of the last half hour, 45 minutes of the movie, and I watched the end of the movie on the big screen because I'm like, God damn it, I'm switching to the big screen and watching this because shit's getting real, and I wanted to see it on the big screen because it was, God damn it, was fun.
It was fun,
and the elephants were not. The CGI tag was not there when the elephants were just kind of walking and pulling the statues and the and I want to understand a little bit of cultural context for pulling the statues. Is that an intimidation thing? Is it I don't know. I mean, it gives it an incredible scale.
Right.
Like when they do the long shots and you see just how big you see them standing at the base of the statues and see how big they are. And then you get the long shots and seeing these giant statues. And there are like 6 of them, I think. I think they were
those outside the gates.
Yeah. And they're pulling them. Like they're bringing them to the fight. It's not like they were just there. It did really give an idea just how massive all of this was. And I want to kind of circle back to something David was talking about with this being an epic. Like on Wikipedia and everything, it tags this as an epic film, like it as a genre. But I think one of the things that this does differently than like an Avengers movie is where the fights are epic in scale. Like Infinity War has a fight that is epic in scale. It's massive. It's all over the place. this movie also features some cinematography that's really sweeping. Like it's big and shows the landscape and shows the world instead of just looking like people on a soundstage with really impressive digital backgrounds. Now there are a lot of obviously digital shots where they're showing cities and you know what? It does. Yeah, most of those cityscapes, I'm like, oh, I've seen this shot in the video game. A lot of it looks like shots you see in a period video game where they're showing some sweeping city or.
And a lot of those war shots look to me like the Total War engine.
And I think there's a bit relatively early on where what's her name? Avantika has like stabbed a person through, and the sword coming out his back was CGI. But the other bit what was holding wasn't. And a little bit of alignment there. So
I noticed that a time or two that. Yeah.
The CGI wasn't seamless, and it was noticeable. And sometimes by design, they put a little CGI tag to let you know this isn't a real animal. But like I said, at sort of the high level, is that never took me out of like what was going on. I was still really excited by all of and I guess I would say that as for the epicness of it, like I enjoyed this movie a lot the same way that I enjoy movies like Conan the Barbarian. Right, we got like a whole world set up with stuff, and the way people care about things, the way they're intense about it, is what's pulling me in. And then these awesome fight sequences.
These fight sequences are awesome.
So another thing that is astounding to me as I'm looking at the credits for this movie is the quantity of actors in this movie that only go by like a single name.
I noticed that also, and I was a little bit surprised by that too.
Like it's half of the top 10 billed actors in this movie go by a single name with no surname.
Well, do you think that's a feature of Indian cinema? Like Kingo only had one name in the Eternals, so I assumed that was just the way things were.
I mean, that is our gateway here.
Yep.
I don't know if it's just cinema. I don't like it. That just may be how Indian celebrity works.
Yeah,
could be
like Madonna situation. That's just super interesting.
Oh, the director he had a cameo.
Yeah, it was the booze guy.
Yeah,
nice. Good job, booze guy.
He killed it. Killed it. I cannot get over that chariot.
That chariot was wild. Fucking awesome.
I love that chariot so much.
Why have we never seen that chariot in a video game? Like seriously.
I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
Why haven't we yet? I mean, this movie is what?
7 years old?
Oh, I guess you're right.
Even with a AAA game lead time.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, Tony. A game that features that chariot is going to be a quadruple A game.
You're right. You're right.
So I also wonder about like they is Bindi the name for the marking on the forehead? Like I noticed the markings were symbols. And I imagine that is another thing that might have meaning that I do not understand. Like, I wonder if that is something just to denote different characters, or if those symbols have some deeper cultural meanings, and by this character being marked in this way would mean something, or is it part of the fictional part of this world? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I would love to know that also, because I did notice there was a great variety in the markings on the forehead. And like, is that normal? Is it for this movie? Is it something you can choose? Is it something that's chosen for you? Like, I have questions. I have a lot of questions about some of this stuff.
I'm going to try to, I mean, I only just watched the movie just before our podcast. So I'm going to try to do some Google work at some point.
Well, we can pick that back up next week.
True.
If we can't find an Indian culture expert.
We'll use Google as our guide. What could go wrong?
Oh boy.
Google, sensitize me to all of Indian culture. Restrict results set to 2 pages.
Perfect.
I was trying to look up the quote, and it happens twice. And once she says it, and once the uncle says it at the end, and it's something like, it's not scheming, it's statecraft.
Oh yeah.
Because it's really solid, and it lands very nicely both times, especially when she just slices that dude's throat open. Yeah. Like, I felt like that was also the potential of an intro story for Avasarala.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just felt like I feel like they were kindred spirits. Like, that's a
I was getting Avasarala vibes.
Right? Yeah, because she was just so badass. She's like, I'm gonna sit on this throne, and what I say is law. I'm not the ruler, but I'm sitting on this throne and I'm making the laws, as she's breastfeeding both babies. I'm like, God damn it, how badass is this?
And that's another thing I'm not 100% on. Who is the parents of these two babies?
Question. I don't know.
But they both nursed her. Is that what makes them brothers?
Because that one dude's like our son, but
right.
Yeah,
and the other baby showed up when the queen had died, who was giving birth to that. So I just don't understand.
So she was the sister-in-law of the queen? Like, I think the woman who survived, I believe, was the sister-in-law of the queen.
Right.
Because so there was the king and the queen, and they had Baahubali. And then she and that uncle
with the mustache,
with that incredible mustache,
he twirled evilly, but also sincerely.
Oh my God, it was so good. I believe, yeah, like it wouldn't surprise me if that was CGI. It looked so good. It was another character in this movie. I think actually the mustache was the father of the kid. I think that guy was just along for the ride.
Yes, that makes sense. Sentient mustache did it.
Right. So I think the two of them are the father of.
I think this is right, because his brother was the schemer and he took him out somehow.
Yeah.
And then when the queen died, that was their lineage with that Baahubali.
Right.
Which in some other court, they might have just like got rid of him. But the mom, sister-in-law, Svi, I don't remember her name.
Sivagami.
Yeah. Right. Said, nope. Raising this baby is my own.
I loved that scene too. She just like scooped him up. This is my child now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really appreciated because I don't know the Indian culture. These women were incredible.
Yeah.
There weren't many of them, but they were pretty great, except for the one like not having any agency and no consent for the tattoos that she's getting. And
right. I wonder also the meaning behind those tattoos. Is that something symbolic, or is it just pretty?
Well, also they matched up perfectly whenever they were dancing. They matched the tattoos that he had.
Does that have a cultural significance when you have matching tattoos?
I don't know. Or maybe was it just awesome for this movie?
Does it mean something to tattoo the woman you are fond of in secret while hypnotizing her with a tiny snake?
I did love how she shot the snake away.
Mm-hmm. I was glad to know it was only CGI snake.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was obvious. They told us right there on the screen.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, she says, "Hey, go rescue this lady." And he's like, "Sure, I'll do it." Right?
Yeah.
You let me make you up and do all this stuff. I guess it's the least I could do. But then, like, there's like an epic montage of him breaking into town, which is like all elements, right? Like he's swimming. There's something on fire. He's flying through the air. There's a wave of dust. Like there's all this stuff going down. It's like, oh man, this is just like the badass shortest montage of going to town.
Yeah, I mean, this director knows everything I want.
Yeah.
It's a breaking into town montage,
Right.
which is basically every role-playing game I ever play.
Indeed.
RRR gives me a bromance montage.
Oh boy. With the like two-headed fighter, which I quite enjoyed. So if you were going to recommend a starting place, would you want people to start back here with Baahubali or start with RRR?
Nah, start with RRR.
Yeah.
Because I think RRR is the better movie. And if they enjoyed it, this is a good follow-up, even though it's less refined. But if they didn't enjoy RRR, they're not going to enjoy this movie either.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to, for example, tell Holden he needs to watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of fun. And if you are interested more in something where there's a little more romance, I guess. But I guess RRR was more the bromance.
Mm-hmm.
It's also hard to tell because we're only half done with this story.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true.
I mean, we could get dueling chariots.
Be like battle bots, but with chariots.
I was just thinking
He's gonna make his chariot a ramp, and so the guy's got the spinner.
Oh my god!
We did just watch the last season of BattleBots. It was pretty fantastic.
Nice.
For the Golden Bolt.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this next part. Like, this was great. I have no doubt the next one is going to be great too.
Yep.
I'm really loving this dive into the films of South India.
I am too. This was a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing other types of movies now too. I mean, because I think these types of movies are similar, like these epic action adventure type movies. But I want to see what an Indian drama looks like, what an Indian comedy looks like, what an Indian romance looks like that are more that are less about the epic action.
It does feel like we've watched a disproportionate amount of non-American movies this year versus what we have in the past.
I think so. It feels like it.
There is an Indian movie in IMAX theaters in the US right now. Brahmastra Part 1 - Shiva.
Oh shit. Let's see. Brahmastra Part 1. Oh, it's showing at 4:00 tomorrow afternoon.
Oh,
wow!
Whereabouts?
De Pere.
Ho ho ho!
Despress, huh?
Mm-hmm. The reviews are disparate.
Looks colorful.
Disparate.
That's
an adjective.
So the Google reviews are out of 5 stars, 3.3 average, but there are a few 4-star reviews, very few 3 and 2-star reviews. Everything's either 5 or 1.
Oh, well, all right.
Like
then.
It is either 5 or 1. I'm trying to see some of the 1-star reviews and see if they're just. Here's a 2-star review. VFX on steroids. It is a visual spectacle.
I like spectacles.
It's great at some places, but overall seems extremely excessive.
Oh,
It should definitely come with an epilepsy warning. I do feel like they could have added more substance to the story and explained/developed the Puranus arc rather than indulge excessively on VFX. That's my hope for part 2. This person breaks down a lot of stuff like story, acting, technicals. Cinematography was excellent. I watched it on IMAX and really appreciate the scale. The editing was quite rough, especially during Ranbir's telekinesis.
What?
Yeah.
Can't sell me on this movie any harder.
I know, right?
Oh, I found the trailer.
I'm only here for Ranbir's telekinesis.
Oh, here we go. 1 star. If there were 0 stars, I probably would have opted for a 0. To put it straight, there's no soul to the film.
Oh.
The scriptwriter and director lack the ability to create and explain a story that could have possibly been impactful, considering the intent of applying rooted mythological concepts pertaining to the Indian subcontinent. I feel the budget has only utilized in hiring the cast strategically. However, without a strong storyline, the whole cast seems to be underutilized. Actors who have outperformed throughout their careers have been given bizarre scripts and dialogues which don't bring any impact. The whole concept, idea, and plot gets lost in thin air. I highly recommend people not watch this film, because if you do, your hard-earned money will be going in vain.
Tony's still going.
This film will bring you absolutely nothing, so why not save your time and valuable money?
It's still going.
My valuable money.
Wow.
I wonder if this is another cultural assassination, which is
I
what
wonder.
I'm thinking of some of those other RRR reviews as.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at the cultural assassination we see in some of our media right now.
Sure.
For shows that
She-Hulk
are good, She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel,
The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid. That girl can goddamn sing. Holy shit. I don't like the story of The Little Mermaid, but I will go support this movie.
Well, and what I want is a fish on top mermaid, and I just don't know why we don't get that.
You do in Red Dwarf, baby.
Legs on bottom, fish on top.
It kind of ruins the story, though, because she just wants to walk around in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that would be a disability under the sea to have human legs. Right. Yeah, I mean, just slow you down.
It's the worst of both worlds.
Garbage. They are garbage for swimming compared to a fish bottom. I mean,
you're a fish bottom.
Fish bottom girls
make the rockin' world swim around.
They do.
Turns out that's one of the songs they added to the new Little Mermaid soundtrack.
That's what the new Sebastian Under the Sea song is Fish Bottom Girls. Oh no.
Have you seen some of the YouTube supercuts, or not YouTube, TikTok supercuts of little black girls being shown the trailer?
Mm-hmm.
They're just, it's glorious. It's beautiful to see them light up, and it's me. This one person, this white woman showed her son, and he's like, yeah, but it's not the same. It's wrong. They did it wrong.
What?
And she's like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. He's like, it's not right. They did it wrong. That's not who it should be. And she's like, oh shit, what's happening? And he's like, where's her fish friends at?
He just wanted more flounder.
Yeah, he just wanted flounder. He didn't see enough flounder or Sebastian in that trailer, so Bro was disappointed.
Well, right. Yeah, but I'm excited for it. I've liked a lot of the stuff when Disney's like re-released some of their things. Like some of them I hate. Like I really thought the living furniture of Beauty and the Beast was horrible in live action. It creeped me out just on like many levels. I didn't like it.
I found that whole movie just unnecessary. Where I really did like Maleficent.
Yes,
it brought something new.
And at Disney Plus launch, they did the Lady and the Tramp live action, and I quite liked that. I thought, oh yeah, this is great. They've updated a few things. They've made it cool. Shirley was in it, so I was excited about that.
Was in it.
Oh, Yvette Nicole Brown, I think is her real name.
That is her name.
Forever Shirley to me. But then there's like the Lion King, which is differently animated.
The lead chick in Brahmastra played someone in RRR.
Oh.
Who was she in RRR? Oh, she was the main. I guess what's his face's fiance?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought she looked familiar.
Oh, it's also playing at AMC Classic Chesterfield 14.
Yeah, I think they show a lot of international films there.
Gravois Bluffs and Fenton.
You have to brave the zombie mall to get to that one in Chesterfield, though.
That zombie mall is awesome, man. It's got tennis courts in the basement.
Wonderful.
It is not playing on any of the screens on this side of the river. Might have to wait on that one.
Wow.
The Rotten Tomatoes score isn't spectacular on that one either. It's only got a 48%, which makes me wonder what some of these other movies we've done are. RRR has a 92%.
Wow, yeah.
Feels low to me.
Mm-hmm.
Baahubali has a 90%.
All right.
The Baahubali 2, The Conclusion, has an 87%.
Okay.
I mean, it does set a high bar, though. So,
yeah.
The first one does set a pretty high bar.
What is this? The Thugs of Hindustan.
I'm just, I think the thing that disappoints me most about this movie is that I will never have hair like these gentlemen. It's glorious. It is so wonderful.
You don't think you can do that mustache situation?
Oh, I can do them. I think I could do the mustache. I'd have to dye it. But
I don't do that.
I don't do that. I don't. Yeah. If I ever dye my hair, it'll be something ridiculous like pink for Sausage Fest, but I've never done any of that.
Listen, I'm watching a trailer for this movie called The Thugs of Hindustan.
I saw that was a suggested film that people searched for.
Yeah, and the more it's PG, and the more I'm watching this, the more I want to watch it. Looks like RRR, but pirates.
What?
To catch Azad, we need a thug like Azad.
All right.
Oh, God, I'm going to have to watch this, too. It's all I'm going to watch now is Indian movies.
I watched a good one.
You have lately been complaining about not having anything to watch. So this opens up a whole new avenue of films for you to enjoy.
It does. It really does.
There was a Bollywood film that I had watched, or a Hindi language film anyway, that I'd watched. I forgot. I just looked it up. Amir, Aamir, was what it was called. It's from 2008, I just remember after watching it that I loved the soundtrack so much that like I listened to it constantly. Like it had a great soundtrack to it. The movie itself was also like real, I don't know, effective. It was like an action thriller about someone getting pressed into like carrying out a bomb attack, like a bombing. Yeah, and it was cool. Oh yeah, I see the cover. He had to carry this red briefcase. Gosh, I want to get that soundtrack again. It's gonna be what I listen to this week. Oh, says this on Netflix.
Yeah, apparently Netflix has a a nice little subset of these movies from the Indian subcontinent. That was something that I found really interesting on Netflix, was the different versions of this were available. Like I almost had to I clicked through a bunch of them to make sure I was watching the right things. Yeah,
because there was several different dubbings and the English dubbing, but they weren't all on one file. They were like
right. Well, the international cut, like I said before, is fully 20 minutes shorter, and that is the English dub of the movie. But they also have a Hindi dub, the Malayalam version. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but those are the letters put together how you'd pronounce them in English. But it doesn't have the Telugu version on Netflix, which I thought that was kind of interesting also. That is apparently available for rent other places, though. I tried to look up. Somebody did say there were some differences between the Telugu and the Tamil version, but it was like on a Quora or something like that, and they posted a link to a video that was a dead link, so I couldn't watch it. Yeah, but it was like the movie is 99%. They are 99% the same, with the exception of the difference of language, except for this and this. And there was one video that was shown, and it was a dead link. So part of me is curious, but curious in a way that I want somebody to make an article about it and not have me watch it. I want to know what they did in the international cut.
What they cut out?
Yeah, what they cut.
Yeah.
I think something said there was a character that was completely cut from the story.
What?
Yeah.
Who's in there for 20 minutes?
I don't know, but like as I was thinking about it, it's like, could you cut Capata?
No. You could cut the prince. In the present prince.
Could.
Or maybe Capata's friend who's come from Persia or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's not 20 minutes.
No, that's not even 20 minutes.
Words and spilled blood can't be taken back.
Prince. Oh, you mean the prince who's running around with his head cut off?
Yeah. That was a pretty badass scene, too.
It was a pretty badass scene.
I'm going to have to watch this Thugs of Hindustan movie. It looks like Indian Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm fucking in for it. I'm just fucking here for it. God, I didn't know I needed this in my life, but here we goddamn are.
Now, I was starting to feel some fatigue with the podcast, but these movies are kind of reinvigorating it. Like they're just so different. They are. They're different and they're fun, and it exposes us to different cultures. Like, and it's not just this, but there have been a number of movies that we've done.
Oh, Space Sweepers.
Yeah.
Space Sweepers are real good.
Animal World.
Mm-hmm.
Everything Everywhere.
Everything Everywhere.
God damn, it was so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start asking international students what the best movie is. We'll see what we can come up with. It's one of the things on our list.
I have so much shit to do tomorrow.
Maybe one of them will be to light a candle in Charterstone.
Whoop.
I don't feel like I've gotten a real strong confirmation.
Right.
I feel like I've gotten stronger confirmations.
My intent is to be there.
Mm-hmm.
My intent is also to be there, which is my intent every week.
My Amazon delivery driver, who most frequently comes to my house, I mean, there are many, but the one who comes most frequently looks very similar to Other Tony, such that I get notifications that Other Tony has shown up with a package. So I'll just order something next day, and if Other Tony can't make it, we'll just invite this guy in.
Yep. You can deliver it, but you have to deliver it at 6 and expect to be there for like 3 or 4 hours because we're getting 2 games in.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have anything else here?
Nope. I'm good. Next week we will talk about part 2, Baahubali part 2.
Awesome.
The conclusion. Actually, I don't think it's part 2. I think it's just Baahubali 2, the conclusion.
Mm-hmm. I'm in.
All right. Yeah. See you guys next week.
Bye.